Okay, so welcome back. So let's continue with how to retrieve the user that we've created and how to update its data and how to delete the data, how to delete the user, for instance. So let's get started. And for this, we will go to where we left off. We will go to the user create request, and we will use user controller, and we will use the delete method or the destroy method. So there are two things to take in considerations. One, we can delete the user from our database, or we can use a soft delete which invalidates the user from the database. It will create a deleted at timestamp column in the database, and it will fill it up. And if the user is deleted, it won't be null, it will have the current timestamp, and the user won't show up in our application anymore. So let's get started. Okay, for the destroy, we'll use an ID, user find ID delete. We will use this try catch exception A, and if the exception fails, we will use this. Okay, and we will say that user could not be deleted. Could not be deleted. Okay, and if the user has been deleted, user has been deleted successfully. Okay, and the user, let's put it in our variable. If user delete. Okay, I'm using this just to say the username has been deleted from the database. Okay, and data, it will be just a null. But for the deleted, we will use a status code, HTTP response codes. We have to check which is the deleted. There is a response code for this, I believe so. Created, accepted. Let's use 202. Okay. Or 200, only 200, it's best. So let's use the destroy method. Okay, so for this, we will duplicate this, and we will say destroy user, delete user. We won't need these parameters, authorization we have, header we have. So for the delete, we will use the delete method, and also we have to create the route here. Let's put delete here and destroy. Okay, so let's empty this. Okay, so let's test out our route. Delete. Too few arguments to the function. Why is this? Because if you remember, when we create a user, we get an ID. For this to work, we have to add an ID here, ID, and we also need to add an ID. For example, 103, it's our latest ID. And let's hit the send button. So the message is Sobjoldos has been deleted from the database. It's a success message. And if we go back, there is no more 103, only 102. Okay, and let's send it again. Send. For example, this is not treated because we use only the try catch method. For this to work, we have to use if user delete okay, if find or fail. Let's use this first. Okay, send. User could not be deleted because the user could not be found. Is the best, easiest way to use this. Good, because it throws an exception. Okay, so we have the create method, the destroy method, and let's do the update method. But before doing before going to the update method, I have to mention it that it's not a best practice to allow a user to delete any user from the database. Usually you have to make some kind of relationships to be able for a user to delete a user. For example, I should be able to only delete those users which I've created or upon which I do have the rights to delete them. So it's not a good practice to delete actually the user in the way that that I did it, because in this way I have access to all of the users in the database, which is not the best practice, and nobody uses this in the real life. Good. So let's go to the update request. For the update request, update method, we will use the same method. We'll use user find ID. We'll get the user and user update. And now we will use the same values as in the create method, but we will use request all, for example. And also for the request, we will use the user create request. Okay. But for this to work, let's see if it's working. So try, sorry for the typo, catch, exception. Let's treat this like this, copy these values. User could not be updated. Okay, and let's create here a method, find or fail, sorry. Return user has been updated successfully, has been updated, and we will return the user. For this to work, we have to also create a route ID, but for this we will use the patch. We will patch the actual existing entity or ID. Update. Let's see if this works. So let's create a user. Okay, 104, we have this ID. And let's update our user with new, let's update. First of all, we shouldn't be able to change its email. Or should we? We can for now. We can for now. So let's update user. For the update user, I've told you before, we use patch 104 and update, send. Because I didn't enter any parameters, we have these validation as well. But let's say this. the entered email address is already taken, so I cannot use someone else's email. Okay, in this case, it's accepting an email, but let's validate this. Let's think about this a bit. If we are in the update method, what should we do? If we're in the update method, we shouldn't use the required method. So let's use these rules. If this, let's see what we have here. Method is method put patch, sorry, rules require email required. We'll use here the onset method, onset, and return the rules. Let's see if it works, if this works. Okay. Please enter an email. I don't know why this is not working. Let's die and dump this get method. Let's see what it responds. Preview, patch. Okay. If is method patch, it should be true. Okay. Okay, it's true. Let's die and dump the rules because I'm not sure about its structure. Rules, email required. It's the 0th element. That's the problem. It's the first element. Send. So we have successfully updated our user. Let's change the name, the password. The password, anyways, we cannot show it now. Szabizsoldos 2. And also you can see that it changed in the database. Okay, good. So for the delete method, I would like to show you something new. For the delete to work, we have to go to the user and we'll use a new trait, soft deletes. For this to work, we have to or create it manually or edit in a migration. Create users table, and we will use table soft deletes. Okay, let's refresh our database, PHP artisan, migrate fresh seed. Okay, so we have everything, and also if I refresh, you will see that there is a new column, deleted at. Okay, deleted at. Let's take user 100 and delete it. Okay, delete the user 100, and it says unauthenticated. Why? Okay, let's delete the user now. I had a problem because I've migrated the database and I lost the tokens, so I needed to create a new token now. Send. Success, Rigoberto Vium has been deleted from the database. But if we go to the database now, as you can see, there is this entity, this user is there. But now it has the deleted at method, deleted at column field completed with the current timestamp. Okay. So these are the two methods, but also we can use the force method. User resource controller, delete, destroy, I believe it's destroy. Okay. You can use force delete. Okay, let's delete the value from the database. Okay, and send it again. If you use force delete and I refresh it, it will be gone from the database. So this is how we create, update, and delete a user from the database. For the next tutorials, we'll go to create the addresses for each user and also create, update, and delete it in different methods. Cheers. See you next time.